Hey, hey folks, how you doing out there? Welcome to another Drink and a Wink info review and the start of our winter drams series. I don't know what we call series, just we'll talking about like an occasional, every so often conversation. We're already in December 5th, so I figured time to do some of these winter drams. And had a long day outside in the cold, inside working, teaching, all kind of good stuff. And I just felt, oh, it's good. It's a little late, but why not? Why don't we just kind of get this fired up here? The idea of the winter dram is, I mean, there's nothing really specific. It's going to be something that I'm not going to give an A. Yeah, I will. A, okay. Mostly, obviously, A is going to be something that. Okay, the letter thing isn't working. Let me just go through. It's going to be something that has maybe a warming nature to it. Okay. It's going to be maybe have a little bit more rich mouthfeel than some of the other whiskeys we drink. It might be fruity, but it's going to be more towards the raisins, dates, plum, all those kinds of fruits, and maybe a little bit off the other kind of citrus we might get in some whiskeys, like orange and lemon and things like that. I definitely don't, for me, I mean, let's talk about whiskey, don't get into tequila flavors or any of that kind of stuff. And maybe it won't be so earthy or vegetal, or at least it won't be summer notes. So this isn't, the middle of the summer in the prairie. This might be, well, right now in the prairie or a glen or a dale or whatever, okay? But not Glendale. That's the kind of concepts behind it. Second thing is going to be if it's going to be finished whiskey, maybe it's going to be something that, again, we would think of as something of old world spirits. So, obviously, port, okay, is going to be on the table. So, probably going to mention a couple of port finished whiskeys here, not just scotches, but port finished whiskeys. The other obvious one. Is rum. We're going to be talking about rum. Okay, everybody knows about rum cake and all the different things, the eggnog that you do with rum, or can do with rum. So that might be one of them. And the other concept is, especially this Christmas, because it's a little harder to buy toys and other things these days, right? No matter how many you want to buy, one or 101. The other thing I wanted to be somewhat affordable. So I'm gonna talk about a few that are a little more pricey, but we're not gonna go crazy with that, and it should be available. And that's kind of the idea there. I'm going to drink a little water here because didn't have a lot. So I'm going to start with one that shouldn't be too much big of a surprise. We're going to talk about something that's quite affordable, and we've talked about this series a whole lot, but we're going to start with a blended Scotch, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Dewar's Caribbean Smooth from their Smooth series, okay? We have held this up quite a bit. I don't know what bottle we're on here. Sometimes we get it. This would be our third that's opened at least. Maybe other times maybe we would go to a party or something like that, and we're not buying something for big fancy Scotch drinkers. But hey, maybe somebody want to try something a little different. This one works. So occasionally, if we were kind of out of it, I'd buy it new, bring it to a party, and if you don't want us to leave it, we'll take it. That's how that works. Okay, I don't want to say it's a perma shelf. I could live without it, but if you remember this series at all, this series was started by Stephanie McLeod. I've mentioned her name quite a bit, and they started the series of taking the regular distillate, double aging it, okay, and then finishing it. I don't know what that noise is. Finishing it in that was really weird. I don't know what that means. In Firefox, there's a little kind of puzzle piece in the corner. It just went boom, 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 boom. I don't know what that was. Let me click on it and see what's up. Oh, okay. No, it's not about one password. All right. So anyway, where was I? Sorry, I was distracting. I don't normally hear sounds out of it. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn off my output some. So the series here was taking the regular distillate Dewar's 3-year-old, or it doesn't say that, but you know, it's a young blended Scotch whiskey, which I do enjoy, although it is a little bit oaky these days. And they're going to double age it, and they're going to finish it in, you know, various casks. It's going to start. It started off with probably what the parent company is giving them most access to. So the first one that they did in the Smooth series was this Caribbean Smooth. I might get this out of order a little bit. The second one, the company that owns Dewar's, I'm blanking on it, has a couple of rum brands under there. So they have rum casks around. Okay. The second one was the same kind of thing, tequila. And that kind of thing, and mezcal. So the second one was called Illegal Smooth. That's what they called it. And it was an illegal smooth. It was Illegal Smooth. It's how the Scottish said it, and that was a mezcal finish. I might be getting out of order. I think the next one was Portuguese Smooth, which was a port finish, which I don't think is as successful as this one, as kind of a kind of an everyday party drink. They did an apple brandy one. I think that might be the most recent one, Calvados apple brandy one. I think in between there was a Japanese oak one where they did anyway. They 8 years old. They do different finishing. Bottle at 40%. It's not you know, they're not going to give you a high proof. It's not great whiskey. It's good whiskey, good blended whiskey, blended Scotch whiskey, combination of malted barley and grain whiskey. But the nice kind of kick on it was that they're all aged 8 years old, and more importantly, they were running in the at the most $25 range. Okay, maybe $26 now. Maybe it's like 20 or $25.99 or something like that. But that was a nice little value, just in terms of getting an 8-year-old whiskey at that price. Okay, you can almost always find some of these on sale. Some of these have kind of come and gone. Currently, I don't know if this is in the Binny's actual computer catalog, but I know I saw it within the last couple of weeks. Got another bottle, a new one up there. It's just a nice little dram. In terms of taste on this, on the nose, the rum really does pop through on the nose, and you can tell you're just not smelling regular Dewar's. The reason why is because you're not getting as much of a kind of oaky note that you get with the with regular Dewar's, and along with a little bit of a it's not a nasal burn, but it's a nasal dryness that you get from what is obviously some corn mash in the mash bill. This one, the rum cask finishing is covering it, along with a little bit extra age has probably given it a little bit more of a sort of kind of just oak notes. Now we're getting more of it spent a little more time up against this oak, and now we're getting some more vanilla and nutty notes. Yeah, smells pleasant. It's nice, no nasal burn. It's at 40%, and there's been some rum cask finishing, so it's going to be a little bit mellow. Sorry about that, if you have misophonia. That is a really tasty little dram for 25 bucks, okay? It starts off, the rum finish is still there. Getting some light chocolate toffee notes, a little bit of an orangey citrus note, a little bit of a minty note, oddly enough. Then it's towards the end of the palate. We do get a little bit more of that oaky note that we get with Dewar's, or at least that I get with Dewar's. The finish, hazelnut and a little bit of like peanut shell. So kind of nutty at the end, but nutty isn't the right. Just to say the shell. A little hint of dry. It's hard to say. like unsalted cracker. It doesn't taste good, but that kind of weedy, excuse me, yeah, it's a nice finish. Nothing extraordinary, but it works pretty well. One flavor while we're kind of hanging out and me thinking about this a little more. One flavor that we kind of get sometimes is either a wafer note. Now you all know what wafers are, but then another one when it starts to get the stuff starts to get sweet, has always reminded me of one of these. Now, one of these, okay, this is a Vortman's little, layered cookie. They come in this flavor. They come in chocolate. They come in strawberry. And this actually even a bonus. I could eat a few more of these because I shouldn't be eating a whole lot of these. And Michelle buys these occasionally because she gets the sugar-free ones. You'd be surprised how close these are. Really nice. But this flavor of this little kind of semi-vanilla cream in here and this wafery flavor, it finds its way into a lot of Scotch whiskey. Okay, just something about the aging. Maybe it's the bourbon. If it's an ex-bourbon barrel, maybe these notes pop through. But I could eat this cookie and find these flavors in this whiskey. It's kind of interesting. So, when I'm listening to Scotch reviews and whiskey reviews in general, but let's say Scotch reviews, because this is where I hear this the most, there are sometimes things that people mention, items that I just don't know. I've mentioned this before, sultanas. I know it's some type of raisin, but Scottish people use this term all the time. I just don't know what they're talking about, to be quite honest. I don't know that flavor. So one of the new kind of flavor descriptors that I'm going to use, I'm just going to use the term Vortman wafer. And when I start using that term, this is what I'm talking about. And yes, very definitely, I would say that there's a hint of that in here. And if there is no hint of it, then it just balances it very nicely. Vortman wafers. Okay, these are one of those things you never buy, then you get them like just every once in a while. You're like, these are the best things ever. Then maybe after you get a second pack, and you're just like, no. Or maybe you don't eat them at all, and you're not like me, and you know what, you're probably better off. Let's get back to whiskey. Dewar's Caribbean Smooth. Is this the best whiskey I've ever had? Absolutely not. Okay, this is good for what it is. Maybe punching just a little bit above its weight class. I liked every one of these in these series to a degree, but I thought this one was the most drinkable, and I thought the port cask one, Portuguese Smooth, was the most interesting. I thought the most interesting was the Portuguese Smooth. The most drinkable is this one. The most close to what maybe they could have gotten to, the closest they got to satisfying the bigger whiskey snob, single malt Scotch whiskey snob, was the Japanese oak. Okay, illegal Smooth. I actually bought two of them, and then I had one of them. I'm sorry. Let me say that again. I had one. Then I saw another one on sale, and I was like, I'm going to buy another one. And when I was just about to get rid of that one, Jewel Osco here in Chicago had them on deep discount. Like, I think it was under $10, $9.99 or something like that. And I grabbed another one, even though I never really wanted it. And now I think I only have just a very little bit of it. I really wish I would have bought a couple more, because it's a weird one. I wouldn't recommend it for just everyday drinking. But this one really gets it, because here's the three things we can talk about a whiskey for the winter time, and this is not make much sense what I'm going to talk about. A lot of the whiskeys in this class, 40% blended Scotch whiskeys, here's the problem. Can you sip them neat? Some of them you can't. Okay, some of them you won't want to. Okay, so would you rate this against Johnny Walker Red? I wouldn't even touch Johnny Walker Red with this around. Would I buy just regular Dewars with this around, and maybe I get on sale? Well, some people. I mean, there's nights I just love the taste of Dewars on a cube, or with a cube in it. But clear this one up. This one really serves its purpose. So the first, could you sip it neat? I'm sipping it right now neat. I'm enjoying it. Would you like it if it was just like this was kind of close to? It's really cold out. It's close to our the rack. I keep purposely close to the window during this time because it's just a little closer to. It gets a little cooler. I'd rather have it cooler than warmer. So this one was probably when I started drinking it. Not that we have that drafty of a house, but a couple degrees cooler than room temperature, and I really liked it there. Will it hold up to a cube? Yeah, to a point. I wouldn't, pour. I mean, yeah, you can fill up a glass with cubes and pour it, so drink it and enjoy it. Really nice. Moreover, some of your maybe sweeter drinks that you're going to make with Scotch, a Rob Roy. Maybe you're going to use a little bit of this in an alternative to something else, and just any, whether it be kind of an eggnoggy thing or whatever. This would be great in it. Don't know if it's going to be in anything kind of savory as a cocktail mixer, but there's some bartenders that think they're great and don't ever think about that stuff. So that's up to you. It's just very drinkable, and it's a little bit dangerous, just like going to the Caribbean and well, I didn't even mean that, but I don't have any joke for that right now. I'll just let it. Yeah, you know what? Okay, it's not. It's like the Caribbean currently. If you're a drug dealer or you just are riding a boat, apparently, it's already dangerous. But this is dangerous because at 40, it's only at 40%. But there's nothing harsh about this, so you could drink and drink and drink in this one. I'm going to call it a night out of that. Maybe I've had 2 drams, or maybe just shy of 2 drams, and I think I'll back off on that. There you go. This is a nice way to start. Next one we'll probably go on the American side and talk about, and again, a bourbon. Let's see if I can move it this way. You might just see it. Oh, you can see it now. A bourbon that, again, is not my favorite bourbon. But actually, we'll talk about 2. Since we talked about this rum, we're gonna next thing. I'll just tell you what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about the Angel's Envy bourbon, which is finished in a port cask, and then the Angel's Envy rye, which is finished in a rum cask. Okay, that was one of Michelle's favorites. The rye. She liked the bourbon too. I like the bourbon. The bourbon is not, again, not like the best bourbon in the world, but at the price of that, I think that it's going for is 50 some, finished in port barrels. We really like that one, and I think I'm going to call that one as another nice holiday dram on the bourbon side. It won't be the only one I'm going to name on the bourbon side. The only thing about that stuff is that Angel's Envy rye and finished in Caribbean casks for me is too sweet, and for me is too high priced. But that's just me. So that's where we're going to go. We'll be going some other directions. We'll talk about, obviously, we're going to have to talk about a little Canadian whiskey. I got a one that I really like that's kind of hard to find, and I'm going to try to get a hold of another bottle of one that's a little easier to find. That's not, if you're a wiser one, a little hint there, you might know about it. But if you're not got into whiskey too much, you might not find it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. So we talked about Vortman's, Caribbean Smooth, and our ideas for Christmas. If you have any ideas that you just, we like to make a punch, and we add bourbon to make it, kind of a spiked punch, if you will, not in the negative way, but but this one really works. Let us know. All right. It's cool. And also, if you're watching this, I did put out another post about our, we're getting towards the end of the year. A few people have made some comments about the end of the year post. But as you know, we do the whiskey experience of the year. It's not the best whiskey ever for the year or the one that was just released. It's just a year experience. Some days, you know, I want to pick one that's real fancy and nobody knows about. The next minute, I say maybe this was my favorite whiskey experience of the year. I had some Voortman's wafers, a little bit of Scotch, and companionship, right? FB can say companionship. Yeah, feel free to make a couple comments. You can search around for that one that I was talking about, the year of the end. Or the end of the year, year of the end, the year of the end. Boom, boom, boom. No, okay, but yeah, you know what? It's been a long day. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me on that. See if you can find the Caribbean Smooth, a really nice one for the holidays. And like I said, if somebody likes Scotch, they're not going to be snobby on this one if they taste it and go, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I like it." For some people that don't really know Scotch, this would be a really safe way to kind of start and put one on the table alongside, you know, your other bottles. All right, Caribbean Smooth. I didn't want to get political, but nowadays, yeah,